We will begin section 21.4 with discussion about interest rate parity, which provides linkage between foreign exchange markets and international money markets. In other words, interest rate parity provides connection between exchange rates and interest rates. Suppose we observe the following rates. Spot exchange rate between US and Canadian dollar, 90-day forward rate between US and Canadian dollar. And recall that forward rate is the rate for exchange currencies at some time in the future. In this particular case, 90 days from today. US interest rate 8% per year and Canadian interest rate 4% per year. Suppose you are authorized to trade 1 million Canadian dollars. If we looked at these rates, at the first sight, it looks that we should invest in the United States, where we can earn 8%, which is twice as large as the 4% interest rate that we can earn in Canada. Let us examine if indeed you can earn more money by investing in the United States rather than investing in Canada. So you are authorized to trade 1 million Canadian dollars. If you invest in Canada, you can earn 4% interest rate. And because we are given 90-day forward rate, so let us invest for 90 days to eliminate any uncertainties with the future exchange rate. So to find out how much money you will have in 90 days, if you invest at 4%, we have to multiply 1 million by 1 plus 0.04 and increase in the power 1 over 4 because we invest not for the whole year, but for a quarter of year, just for 1 quarter, for 90 days. As a result, how much money will we have in Canadian dollars in 90 days? We will have $1,009,853.41. Okay, but we know that we can earn twice as high interest rate if we invest in the United States. So let us consider another alternative. Suppose we exchange Canadian dollars at the spot exchange rate into US dollars. So we will buy US dollars with our Canadian dollars, and we have to use the spot exchange rate, which says that it takes 0.65 US dollars in order to buy 1 Canadian dollar. So if we exchange 1 million Canadian dollars at this spot rate, how many US dollars will we have? In order to find out, we have to multiply 1 million Canadian dollars by this exchange rate because Canadian currency units will cancel each other and we'll have only US dollar in numerator, which this is what we want to have. So as a result, we will have 650,000 US dollars. Now we will invest this $650,000 at 8% interest rate in the United States for the same 90-day period. So to find out how much we will have in US dollars in 90 days, we will multiply 650,000 by 1 plus 0.008, and again in the power 1 over 4 because we invest for 90 days, for a quarter of a year. If we multiply 650,000 by this future value interest factor, basically, we will have $662,627.26. This is how much money we will have in US dollars in 90 days. And now let us convert this amount back into Canadian dollars because we are a Canadian investor. So we need to get back into our home currency. In order to eliminate any risk associated with the conversion of US dollars into Canadian dollars, we will use forward rate. Because recall that we agreed upon the forward rate today, but the actual exchange will happen in 90 days in the future. So when we started this transaction, we already knew what rate we will be using 90 days from today. So we will buy Canadian dollars with US dollars by using the forward rate, which says that it takes 0.65, 61, 62 to buy 1 Canadian dollar. So in order for us to compute how much we'll have in Canadian dollars, we will divide $662,627 by the forward rate, because US dollars will cancel each other and Canadian currency units will move into numerator. And how much will we have in Canadian dollars? We will have 1,009,853 Canadian dollars and 50 cents. So we received exactly the same amount of money if we would just invest in Canada. This is what interest rate parity tells us. So it doesn't matter where we will invest, the final amount of money that we will earn will be the same. So and why did it happen? Why? Because we know that we earn twice as much by investing in US dollars comparing to investing in Canada. It happens because US dollar is sold at the discount at the forward rate. Because you can see at the spot rate, it takes only 0.65 US dollars to buy 1 Canadian dollar. But at the forward rate, it takes more than 0.65. Actually, it takes almost 0.61 because it takes 0.65, 61, 62 to buy 1 Canadian dollar. So all this gain that we earn by investing in United States at a higher rate was canceled out by the fact that US dollar is sold at the discount in the forward rate. So all our gain in interest was leveled off, was canceled out by the fact that US dollar was sold at a discount. So as a result, our final amount in Canadian dollars was the same under both scenarios. So simply put, interest rate parity tells us that any change between two currencies in the interest rates are compensated should be by the change in the differences between the spot rate and the forward rate. Now let us summarize it more formally. So interest rate parity says that interest rate differential between two countries is equal to, but opposite in sign to, the percentage difference between the forward exchange rate and the spot exchange rate. In other words, if one country has a higher interest rate, the currency of that country will be sold at a discount in the forward market. So all this difference between interest rates are compensated by the differences between the forward exchange rate and the spot exchange rate. If we use the following notation, so we have the spot exchange rate and we use indirect quote, which shows the number of units of foreign currency to buy 1 unit of home currency. And we have the forward exchange rate, and RHC stands for the interest rate in home country. RFC stands for the interest rate in the foreign country. In this case, according to the interest rate parity, forward rate will be equal to the spot rate multiplied by 1 plus interest rate in the foreign country minus interest rate in the home country, and it increased in the power of t. So if we look at this formula, what can we see? If a foreign country has a higher interest rate, the forward rate will be higher. What does it mean? It will take more units of foreign currency to buy 1 unit of home currency. In other words, foreign currency will be sold at the discount in the forward market. And vice versa. If the interest rate in foreign country is smaller than the interest rate in the home country, in this case, foreign currency will be sold at the premium against the home currency. So this is what interest rate parity tells us. Again, it links, they say, foreign exchange markets, spot rate and forward rate, with the money markets, with the interest rate in the foreign country and in the home country. And it shows, basically, interpretation is if the foreign country has a high interest rate, it means the currency of the foreign country will be sold at the discount in the forward market. So any interest rate differential will be equal, but in opposite direction to the percentage difference between the forward exchange rate and the spot exchange rate.